Hey guys, it's your scrapper on the street here, and I apologize for not being at my scrapbooking table. I'm actually on my coffee table because my scrapbook table is a straight up mess. I'll probably take a video and include that so you can see what I've been using my scrapbook table for, but I had a question on the Facebook group about how I use traveler's journals and traveler's notebooks, and if I scrapbook while traveling in them, or how that works. So I thought I would do a series of videos, and starting with a completed, well, I'll call it completed, traveler's notebook that I did in two parts. Part was while I was traveling to Hong Kong, where I did a lot of journaling and documenting of the actual trip, and then I continued when I got home, adding more pictures and more journaling from the trip. So I kind of took it day by day while I was traveling, dating the pages kind of like an actual journal, and using Instax photos, stickers that they were giving out everywhere in Hong Kong, and just including a day by day look and documenting the trip as it happened. I did a lot of it at night back in the hotel room, and I never quite adjusted to the time change. So there were some nights, and you could see like some of my handwriting is kind of funny, that I was like falling asleep a while journaling, but I got my stories told and had a lot of fun doing it. I took very limited supplies with me because it was a long trip, and I didn't waste. I don't want to say waste. That's a weird word. I didn't want to take up a lot of suitcase and carry-on space with scrapbooking supplies. Plus you can't bring like scissors and a cutter and stuff like that, so I kept it very minimal in my travels, using a lot of stickers and letter stickers and chipboard and cardstock pieces, bits and pieces. And I just documented, and then as you see, it switches from the Instax to printed photos, Instagram photos. This is about when I got home and started documenting the trip once it was complete. I also used this particular traveler's notebook and some of these pages for a layout a day situation that I did after, shortly after, for the February layout a day. But I documented, and then it kind of goes not really in order, but I start with like some of the plane trip pictures, and some of, this one was coming home, this one was heading to Hong Kong, some travel pictures talking about my boss, which, though not only pertaining to the trip, certainly lent itself to these trip photos. I did a lot of journaling and used a lot of titles where I just couldn't believe I was actually in this place. So I felt this was a safe space to kind of say the same thing and to kind of like get my thoughts and my feelings about this out on paper. So this isn't really something so much that I'm sharing it with you, but it's not something I would pull out and share necessarily. I plan to, and have done, some 12 by 12 or 8 by 8 layouts of this trip, and I plan to do more of that. I told some of like the funny personal inside jokes that we had with the team out in Hong Kong, and just displayed some of those very distinctive to Hong Kong elements. This washi tape and these stickers I bought in Hong Kong, so that was kind of nice to be able to use those after traveling was done. I used the paper from the hotel. You know, they always give you a like notepad and pen. I used the paper from the notepad as like a background sheet of paper. Talked about the hotel, talked about our like kind of routine there, my favorite attraction. I talked about attractions that I didn't have photographs of, just kind of getting everything out on paper and documented. And it's a really full little traveler's notebook for sure. I got our photos with characters. That was important, played an important part. Seeing the parade. There was a whole situation at the buffet one night with Jell-O. It's a really long story. One of those funnier if you were there, tired, jet lagged. But I made sure I documented that. We went for hot pot one night, where hot pot in Hong Kong is very different than hot pot in America, where they bring you live fish to cook. So that was interesting, but we tried it. It was a great experience. We walked around the city, so I made sure I got that all documented. Some of the very specific things to Hong Kong Disney I made sure to document, and then I made a little pocket page for the maps, and like my room key and photo pass could go in a spot. And then the trip home, I used this picture twice. Just once as a black and white and once as this one. It's fine with me that I used it twice. I told different stories. Of course, I found a Starbucks in Hong Kong. It might have been on the way home, but I did find it. And then to like wrap up, I just did a couple of pages of all just journaling, where I just made sure to get all of my thoughts on the page. So I do a very healthy mix of documenting and travel journaling on the go, and then I have no problem coming home and resuming some of that. So this is kind of the first look into my traveler's journal method. I have a couple of other items I will be showing in future videos. I'm going to try to get them all up in a right after each other so that there's no lag of when you can view these videos. And then I'll start showing you how I plan to pack and bring things for my next trip. So there's your start, and hopefully answer some of the questions on how I utilize traveler's notebooks. Hope that helps, and I will see you real soon.